Hey guys, what is up? Nihat here with Film Comics Explained, and today we are going to be covering a DC Comics and Dark Horse crossover event, Batman vs. Aliens. Published in 1997 and written by both Ron Marz and Ian Eddington, this story is heaps of fun. It does enter the realms of incredulity at times, but this is after all a comic seeing Batman go up against the acidic and extremely antisocial xenomorphs. Special mention must go to Bernie Wrightson, the artist involved in this, and a major influencer of horror comics in general, who sadly passed away earlier this year. The nights of my life are spent grappling with leering psychopaths, criminals whose inner psyches are as scarred and as twisted as their outward appearances. In them, I believed I had seen the heart of horror. I've now learnt I had no concept of what true horror was. What we then see is Batman parachuting into the jungles of the Mexican-Guatemalan border. Not a lot of information is given to us just yet as to why he's here. Batman lands in the swamp and encounters a soldier, only to then get attacked by a crocodile. We see him skillfully securing the mouth of the crocodile before allowing it to swim away. Her comrades soon arrive, led by her captain, a man named Seeley. We see him aim at the croc and is about to fire, but is disarmed by Batman, who tells him not to kill it. What the writers are essentially doing here is reinforcing Batman's code. He does not kill under any circumstances. The Dark Knight hands the gun back to him and tells him not to make him take it away from him again, before explaining that he's on a mission of mercy. He asks them to leave, causing the captain to laugh. Seeley then says, "I think you must be confused. Only mission round here is the one we're on. You are in the middle of a restricted area where military law is imposed." The two are about to go at it, but the situation is soon diffused by the soldier from the start, who reveals her name is Hayat. She essentially acts as the voice of reason here, and tells them that they are all here together. She also reveals that this covert team had only just arrived 30 minutes earlier, and the mission was already a disaster, with most of the team's gear landing in the swamp. She also explains that Batman is more than capable of taking care of himself, before suggesting that they should team up. Batman simply responds with, "I'll allow you to accompany me." After a few hours of travel, they stumble upon Mayan ruins and what appears to be an alien spacecraft. It is revealed that satellite tracking had picked up a ping, which is why the team was deployed here. What's interesting to note is that we still have no idea why Batman is here, who is the only one not saying anything. They venture inside, and Seeley orders his team to do a quick search and meet up again in 15 minutes before saying, "See something you don't like? Shoot it." They suddenly hear the sound of screaming in the distance, followed by a gunshot, causing Batman to leap into action. They then reach Van, who had called them over to his discovery. There is an alien humanoid that has been cocooned to the walls, with a hole in his chest. Batman asks if he had killed him, and Van insists that he was already dead, and he'd merely let off a round in shock. We then see Van and Seeley arguing with each other as Batman investigates the scene. He takes a look at the egg, before noticing the facehugger beside it. The group decide to head back outside and set up a camp, in order to rest and figure out their next course of action. We see Paige wandering off trying to kill a monkey in the trees that keeps howling. Each of them are sort of doing their own thing, with Seeley cleaning his gun, Gantry is reading the Bible, and Van is recovering some wood for the fire. Hayat uses this opportunity to ask Batman why he doesn't carry a gun, and he simply tells her that he has his reasons. They then hear the screams of Paige in the distance. Batman leads them to a back entrance to the temple where the screams had come from, and tells them that he will go in alone in search of Paige. He explains that he is better equipped to deal with the unknown than they are, which is true. I mean, in the history of his crime-fighting days, he's had to contend with not only Gotham's criminals, but also metahumans and otherworldly villains. Seeley, however, tells him that he has all the equipment he needs, and insists that he will take point. We then see the captain and the rest of the group get startled by bats, while Batman continues on. The group stumble upon another body that has been cocooned near an egg. Batman identifies the man and explains that he was a geologist who worked for Wayne Tech and was sent here to do a survey of copper deposits. He tells them that the company had lost contact with him 4 days prior, causing Wayne to personally ask Batman to look into it. They still have no idea what they are dealing with, but we do notice that Hayat picks up a recording device near the body of the geologist. They continue their search for Paige, and what we see is the soldiers are beginning to rattle. Batman takes point, and they soon find Paige is also cocooned to the walls. They are all very happy to see him, and we hear one of them say it's a miracle. But Batman points their attention to the egg and notes that it is hatched like the others. We then see a bullet go through his head while Batman is trying to free him from the alien residue. He turns around and sees that it was Seeley who fired the shot. Batman flings him onto the wall and calls him a murderer, but the captain explains that it was an act of mercy as he was already dead. Unfortunately for Seeley, the gunshot had alerted the xenomorphs to their position, and we can see them descending on him. The xenomorph attacks him with its inner teeth, and Seeley is able to avoid it before shooting him. We then see the acidic consequences of his actions, as his face feels the intensity of the alien's blood. The other xenomorph sneaks up on Hayat, but Batman is able to restrain it with his batarang. He tells her to flee, as he will not be able to contain it for long. We then see Gantry getting taken out. An epic struggle takes place as we see Van shooting a xenomorph, only to have its acid splash back onto his arm. We then see an incredible act of bravery from their captain, as he lures the aliens towards him, before detonating an explosive. We head back outside to the swamp, where we can see the crocodile from earlier. It stumbles upon an egg and moves right up towards it. We then see the egg opening. We head back inside, where Hyatt offers Batman a pistol, who kindly rejects it. We can see the crocodile writhing in pain as Batman explains he believes he has pieced together the life cycle of the creature. It hatches from an egg, implanting an embryo into a living host. A fetus then hatches from the host, which grows into an adult at an alarming rate. We then see the alien attempting to push its way out of the crocodile. They venture further, with Batman leading them in the direction the bats were moving. He explains that although they were going further into the complex, the bats must be heading towards another surface access. Van begins to get complacent and starts talking about the other times they were in tricky situations, in an effort to boost his own confidence, only to be surprised by a xenomorph that leaps out at him. Batman takes his place and wrestles with the xenomorph in an incredible display. I mean, we sort of have to suspend our disbelief for this one, really. Ultimately though, we see Batman is able to get free of the alien. He then puts an explosive in its inner teeth and detonates the device, which rips the xenomorph into many pieces. They reach a cliff face, and the Dark Knight tells them that he will make the climb and secure a line for them to follow. While Batman is climbing above them, Van mentions that the xenomorphs were killing machines, and suggests how useful the xenomorphs would be in warfare. Unfortunately for him, he is attacked once again by a xenomorph that had followed the sound of his voice. Van begs Hyatt to shoot the alien. We notice that she fires a single shot, but aims up at the ceiling instead. Batman immediately swings down to find her crying, and we see Hyatt explaining that an alien had come and attacked Van, before insisting that they were both dead now. I mean, he's not sure what to really make of this, but has no reason to suspect that she is lying to him. She then catches him off guard and smacks him in the back of the head with her gun, causing him to fall down a flight of steps. Batman asks her why she is doing this, and we see her pull out the geologist's recording device, before explaining that she intended on returning with reinforcements to capture the xenomorph alive. She's about to shoot Batman when they both hear the sound of a creature approaching. We then see the enormous hybrid moving towards them. After killing Hyatt, it moves in on Batman, who runs up the steps and picks up an ancient sword. The Dark Knight swings the sword and cuts the giant alien, causing its acidic blood to drip. He then spots that there is lava below him and picks up the spear. After a few more strategic hits with the spear and narrowly avoiding many of the alien's attacks, Batman is able to pull himself up to safety just as the ground collapses underneath him, causing the crocomorph to fall into a pool of lava. The Dark Knight finally makes it out of the ruins and looks down as he tells us that he had destroyed the alien spacecraft with fuel and explosives, which eliminated all the bodies and leveled the interior of the temple. He tells us that it was such a waste, as so much could have been learnt from the new species, but he is essentially unable to trust it in the hands of people. I am left to contemplate the ordeal. Perfect engines of carnage, yes, but evil, no. The aliens are simply what they are, like the shark or the crocodile. I confronted evil in the labyrinth beneath the ruins, but it was the same evil I confront each night in Gotham City. Destroying the aliens was the only option, not because of what they are, but because of what we are. Well, that's all folks. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this one. If you'd like to get a copy of the full story, I've left links to Comixology below. As always, it's been a pleasure. Nihat here with Film Comics Explained. Thanks for stopping by.